Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order. If you would please stand and remove your hats for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I need an approval of the agenda and minutes from the March 20th and April 7th, 2025 meetings, please.
So moved. Second.
I'll take Jason as a motion and Neil as a second. All in favor? Unanimous, thank you. Miss Dewey, we have a very special award. Okay,
So
I'll
we
leave it to you.
have two employees who we are recognizing tonight for 30 years of service to the
Can you get that
Mountain
microphone
Home.
to you?
30 years of service to the Mountain Home District. So the first employee who has coached and taught just about every kid in Mountain Home, Mr. Brad Morris. Do you have any wise words?
It's been a great 30 years. I'm never
He's
dreaded
not-
going to work.
But you're not done yet.
I'm not done yet, no. You got to put up a little bit longer.
Who'd have thought when we were playing ball together back in the day? Who'd have thunk?
Congratulations, Brett.
We also have another very special employee who has fed children in this district with a smile on her face, tirelessly working, whether things were good or bad, she was there. Miss Elizabeth Jones.
Thank you.
Thank you for what you've done.
Thank you so much. It's hard. I know. I only have 3. Can we get? Oh my gosh. Can we get the team? Yes, come on.
Amy, Susie. Susie, come on. Emily. Y'all come on.
You're her team.
These are her people.
These are my people.
All right. 1, 2,
You guys are out already?
1 more. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Steve. Brad, Steve. All right. How do you want to follow that, Miss Lawrence, with your...
Well, I have great followers.
Yes, you do.
You do.
You don't all have to leave.
Wow.
Stay for the
They
fun.
gotta start cooking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
They gotta get cinnamon rolls going.
So I'm going to introduce, well, I'm going to have them automatic and I'll let them introduce themselves. Our media specialist, come on down.
We love our media specialists.
They're amazing.
And they're going to show you some great stuff.
Love it.
I do this first. Christine.
I don't see any leather keychains, though.
I had to put it on my phone so that I remember what I was going to say. Good evening. I am Jerry Thomas, the Library Media Specialist at the kindergarten. And on behalf of my esteemed colleagues and I, we want to thank you for allowing us to come and speak with you tonight. April is National Library Appreciation Month, so we kind of picked this time to come and talk to you. Again, thank you for letting us come and speak, and thank you for supporting the work that we do.
Thank you.
I'm Karen Johnson, and I am the Library Media Specialist at Kingston Middle School. And we just don't check out books. Sorry,
Click.
She even used the voice.
Yeah. Even though we do that, but we are also considered research gurus, tech wizards, reading matchmakers, and the keeper of sanity.
That's a hard one, isn't it?
And quiet. And quiet.
I'm Shelley Jones,
Mountain Home Junior High Library. We do want to thank you for the support that you give us, because it allows us to fulfill our role in what really matters within the school, and that's the students. And we have the unique ability, with, our team to touch every student that we have within our walls. So we do that through critical thinking skills and, teaching them to look at reliable sources and determine and analyze whether it's something that they can trust or not. And that's a really critical thinking tool in today's society that's digital, because they think that if it's in black and white, they can trust it. And we teach them that that's not always the case. So those literacy skills that they get to develop provide our students to go forth into their careers and come up with innovative ideas and technologies and products that play into our future. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Shelley.
Thank you.
I am Melissa Steiner. I am at Hackler Intermediate School this year and going to the Mountain Home Junior High next year. We are very proud that we bring higher test scores, more engaged readers, better research skills, and future-ready learners. And it has a little graduation cap because we think
I like that. Thank you.
I am Cheryl Human. I'm at Nelson Wilkes Heron Library. And before I start, I have a little trivia question. Because I'm doing libraries are not boring. What is the number one thing that students love to do at the library? What's their favorite activity?
Sleep.
Oh.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
It's not boring. No. What do you think?
Well, we would hope
Think
read.
hard. Yes.
Read
It's
aloud.
hard with that.
Check out a book.
Yes, yes.
Good.
I thought maybe you would look up there and say what
Nope.
it does, but yes, absolutely. That's their number one thing, is to find a new book. And so I'm going to talk about activities we do in my library. Of course, all of us have different activities that are age appropriate, but what's really popular in my library are ebooks that are tied to BookFlix, which is an app on iPads. We have audio stories that have books to read along with. We do lots of board games, puzzles, and they especially like checkers because Miss Rayburn had a checker contest this year, so they always want to pull those out when they're done. And we do lots of literacy stations, STEM stations, virtual reality, field trips, virtual field trips, and lots of creativity stations. And I especially love doing book clubs and reading challenges. They do a lot of contests that get them excited about reading.
Thank you.
All right, and last, what we need, to continue our great program, we have always had an amazing support from our school board to our administrators, and we are so appreciated. You all provide great funding for books and new technology for our staff and our programs, and space, our students have a space to still come to. Seeing at the high school, sometimes our library is their reprieve. They come in and we've even had people lately saying it's like the second counseling center, and it really is. They come in, we have our aide that we have, Amber Sutton, is absolutely amazing. She has brought a new life to our library, and they come in just to say hi, for someone to notice them and to be acknowledged. So, of course they come in for books, and our teachers in this day and age with AI are even focusing more on sending kids to the library for books and using those. So that they have trusted sources, and not just using ChatGPT. So we really appreciate your support, and especially with this being Library Month, but in every month, our admin makes sure, because we're an island, and they make sure that we have a PLC and that we can come together each month and build upon our programs, align those, and learn from each other. And not every district has that. And so we want to thank you for making sure that we have that time, that we're not alone on islands at our school, but we can align and support one another. So thank you for that. We really do appreciate you guys.
Thank you for all you do.
And a school without a librarian is like a classroom without a teacher. So let's keep our library
That's
started.
right.
Always stuck to the tallest.
Cheerleader pose.
You two go stand there.
Tell him, Jennifer.
No. All right.
Okay.
One. Right here. All right. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Corralling cats.
Okay, I'm going to introduce our next visitors. We're going to have our ladies come on down. They were the recipients of the Act 56 award, and I'm going to let them, we have a great photo from their event, and I'm going to let them explain what that means.
Hey, I'm Michelle Griffin. I'm the gifted and talented teacher at Hackler. The Act 56 award is an award that's given by the Governor's Advisory Council for Gifted Education. It's an application process we have to apply, and they select schools. They give it to 3 different levels for the size of your school district. For those that go above and beyond what our minimum standards are. So of course we have minimum standards, minutes required, things that we have to do, but they select schools that go above and beyond that. One of the big things we have to be careful of when we apply is to not put anything in our application that would give away that our district, that we're Mountain Home Bombers. And so it's a completely blind selection, and we received that this year. And
Wow.
it's an award that's really difficult to get. So we're super
And the
excited about it.
largest, biggest,
Yes.
the highest, the
Highest
most.
award.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, thank you.
And
Congratulations.
that's great. Thank you. Don't leave.
We are missing Miss Stephanie Hughes, who wanted to thank the board. She had a engagement she had to be at, and she wanted to thank the board for their support, continued support, and then Miss Tony Hamby, who is also a GT. And then Miss Rayburn, you want to introduce yourself?
My name is Amanda Rayburn. I am the GT and enrichment teacher at Nelson Wilkes. So I work with all K through 2 students in a weekly enrichment class, and then I do all of the GT testing for the district in 2nd grade. We just wrapped that up, thank goodness. And then once we've selected our group, they move off to Hackler with Michelle.
Tell me about your tournament.
Oh, the checkers tournament. So yeah, and this week I am teaching 1st grade how to play checkers, and y'all, it's a lot. It's a lot, but we get there. But every spring in 2nd grade we have a entire 2nd grade checkers tournament, and I give out big trophies, and it is cutthroat, and it is such a good learning experience on how to lose gracefully. For a lot of them, but it's fun. When they first used to do it, they did chess. I don't like chess because I can't play, and so we do checkers, and it's a little bit easier for me to teach 1st graders how to play checkers. So then by the time they get to 2nd, they've learned. So we like doing it. I'm wrapping up a week of actual play, and I'm very, very tired.
Very tired. Congratulations.
Thanks.
This is y'all's.
Hi, friend.
Okay, for the academic report tonight, we are going to reveal our preliminary ACT and ORC scores for 2024. These are 2025, 2024, and 2025. So, if you look at our first graphic here, these are our 11th grade students, and you can see the trend from, we have the 2022-2023 school year. 18.2 was the composite mean. You can see it went to 19.7 last year. And for this 24-25 school year, we are at a 20.3. Again, this is preliminary, but we are pretty sure this is it, right? Yep. So that upward trend in overall composite scores over the last 3 years is a positive 2.1 points.
That's fun. That's awesome.
2022, 2023. So, going in the right direction.
Yes.
To show you that in graphic form on a bar graph, here's what that looks like. If you want to see, it's a little bit easier to see that way. And then our next slide is going to break it apart into subject area highlights. So you can see the average in each subject. You can see math is a 19.1, Overall average, science 21, STEM, that's the combination of math, science, is 20.3, English 19.6, and reading 20.9. So that's kind of an interesting breakdown of how those scores came to be. And then our next slide is just going to show you that again. It's just the same information that presented for you. And then our next one is very pretty. So this was kind of a neat breakdown. You can see the trends by subject for the last 3 school years, and you can kind of see the uptick, and you can see the color code that is the key for you, and you can look at subject by subject. You can see every subject has gone up a little bit each year, and we're trending in the right direction. Obviously, we're still going to be working for more growth, but that was kind of an interesting way to see it broken down. Our next slide about it is just kind of some overall performance, just kind of some highlights. The average composite for 11th grade has increased from 18.2 in 2022-2023 to a 20.3 for this school year. This 2.1 point gain over 2 years surpasses the state average composite score of 18.5, which is reported for the class of 2024. The male composite score is 20.4 and the female composite score is 20.1. So that's kind of interesting to know. There's not a gap, really, much of a gap between, sorry, Lisa.
Yeah, you're
And then, again, this is just a little bit of a breakdown, but the males overall did perform slightly better in math and STEM, with females outperforming slightly in reading and English. And then I was going to let Ms. Camp talk to you a little bit about work keys, because that's kind of a new component, and I really wanted her to kind of explain how the students were able to take this part of it.
So if you remember what Work Keys is, it's ACT's National Career Ready Certification process. So it's vetted by ACT, just choice A or choice B. We didn't want our students to have to pick, so we gave them all of the options that they wanted. They could choose just ACT, just Work Keys, or both. I probably talked to 100 kids. Well, which one do I need to take? What do I need to do? So we had 115 students choose to take and show up to take Work Keys, but of those 115, about 90 of those actually took both. So they didn't know which direction they wanted to go. So we've done a lot of assessment days at the high school. It's been a lot of schedule changes, and but of those 115 kids, we have an 81% certification rate, which is huge. The average for ACT certification for juniors is about 50%. So this ties into our Work Ready community and our partnership with the Chamber. We're still just about this close to being a Work Ready community, which opens up funding for businesses. And so if you know anybody that hasn't signed up yet, tell them to call me. And then we also gave Work Keys at Guyberry. We gave Guyberry kids the exact same option. But before we go to that, I want you to look at the platinum level. So the platinum level, we had 7 kids this year at the high school receive that platinum. That's equivalent to a 32 or a 33 on your ACT. So just so you can compare. So pretty excited. And then at Guyberry, we're at about a 33% certification rate. That is probably due to the fact that the testing day at Guyberry was a little tumultuous. It was not a calm, it was, looking back, I probably just said, you know what, we're gonna do this another day. I don't know what had happened that morning. It just, the kids were just a little not too happy to be taking an assessment. So we'll work on that with Guyberry. We do offer it to them again as seniors. So that is part of our career ready focus for those kiddos. And you'll look at certifications being much higher for the seniors that are taking it instead of these juniors. And we had ACT at Guyberry as well. I did not put that on this slide, but we had 1 student choose to take the ACT and she made a 21. So pretty excited for her.
Yeah. Wow.
So we are glad to give the opportunity to these kids. I'm glad that we are done with this part. They actually had 3 makeup days that we offered it to them, so we gave them lots of opportunities to get these assessments in their pockets so they can be successful.
2 questions. Back to the overall ACT data for 2023, 24, 25. What do you think could have been the big gap Like, there's a lot of growth between
That,
18.1 and
I mean,
19.5.
I think we're starting
The
to,
next. Go back, Kelly, one more.
yeah.
No, yes, that would,
Building stamina, I mean, it's just taking us a while to get the stamina for just these hard tasks, because you hate to say COVID, but, you know.
Yeah, well,
we
it
were kind of
was. It was
getting
coming
our
off.
skills back at that point in time.
right there.
Yeah, that one. And like we're seeing, we're trending in the right direction.
Right.
And again, there's been a lot of communication, I feel like, from staff to students about the importance of the test, trying to create that testing environment that will help them be successful, working on the schedule. I mean, Ms. Russell, when you say the boot camp day was a big thing, letting those students kind of practice. We offered, from the high impact tutoring grant, they had access to, on to college. We didn't utilize that quite as much as we probably should have, because there was just a lot of, technical rostering pieces of that were different. But I think it's just trying to build the understanding that the test matters, and so that's part of it. And then the students do have tutoring options with a lot of the staff at the high school. There are teachers that are willing to help students on their free time, and so that has remained important to the success, I believe, of the scores.
Kelly, will you flip over to where it breaks it down by subject? The multicolored pretty one she said. So when you look, we have an excellent ELA curriculum that's been adopted that does a remarkable job with tying into national and state standards. If you look at the growth in just the English, so that's the pink one, the more familiar those teachers are with that curriculum, the more it's growing. You're going to see that exact same thing happen with math, even more because of the curriculum that was adopted last year. Looking at the pieces, even the digital pieces, it's called ALEX in math, but even their assessment is geared to look like ACT. So when the kids are in ALEX and they're practicing the questions and they're doing all of the content in class, it's very, very similar to what they see on ACT. So just those two pieces alone, I think you're going to continue to see great growth because of the curriculum committee and their selection of the curriculums that have been implemented.
That's changed a lot too with the,
Well, and
gonna
it's
see
also
it.
more consistent from grade to grade.
Right.
They're not hopping around quite so much, so that will help as well.
How are we with, and I don't expect this right now, state comparison
We're above.
We're above.
above? So like we're getting to be more leadership in state comparison of
I
our
would say, well,
growth?
I would say it's better. I mean, we always want to go.
Yeah.
What do you think?
We're above state, but that's not good enough.
We
for
are
me.
above state
I'm
standards.
super competitive, and I want
Yes.
our kiddos to be the best of
Yes.
everything. There is always room to grow.
Always,
And there's
right.
always room to get better. The fact that we're going in the right direction is huge, but there's still a lot of work to do.
Right.
And there's still a lot to learn, and all
But this
kids
is
do better.
great. This is kudos to everybody that's been pushing
All our
and
teachers,
teaching. Mhm.
Our teachers have really, their collaboration with each other, and they really looked at a lot of, the common formative assessments even to try to see how their students are doing on grade level standards. All of that starts showing up.
I've talked to a few after they've tested, and I'm like, so since 9th grade, how do you feel? And I think they're getting more comfortable with testing, and the ACT isn't as scary as it used to be. And with the tutoring and with pregame, it's just been, I think it's helping their mental.
Platform Atlas, like our hope is that would even be showing up next year when your sync is getting more and more comfortable with that.
Good.
And that feeds to this as well.
These are
So,
great numbers. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
A couple more, anything, Ms. Russell, that we left out? I don't want to leave anything out. Okay. I do want to point out a couple things. We did reveal that handbooks, the first read has been sent out, and that's so you guys have time to read. That's a lot of information to go through. And so the intent behind that is that you have this time to go through and read, and then we'll be here for next month to ask or to answer questions or If you have suggestions or anything like that, we'll have people here to answer those for you. And then we'll have the approval to vote on in June. So that's kind of the timeline on that. Were there any questions around the handbook first read? Okay.
I will tell you, they are still adding things. So you will need to, and I can let you know as they add, but, you know, they approved free breakfast.
Kelly will be sure and let you know.
That needs to go in our
That's huge.
handbooks.
Did everybody hear that?
Free breakfast.
We have been approved for free
State,
breakfast.
Across the state, K-12, so that needs to go in our handbooks.
Yeah. I mean, that's great for ours.
The technology plan that we'd like you to bless today, well, it's not a plan, it's a screen time action plan. If you're
Yeah.
good with that, we want to include that in our handbooks. So those things, it's just a.
Which have to be done by June,
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
you'll have.
next month's
It's,
meeting.
it's happening, I mean,
I'm sure handbooks are an extension of policy.
Yes,
So
sir.
as policy changes from this
Yes, sir.
legislative session, they may
Right.
change as well. So,
yes, sir.
good.
And then the last thing is in your green folders, we included a transition plan, and this is just kind of some highlights of some things that'll be happening from building to building. And we talk about how unique Mountain Home Public Schools what really is with the grade banding. And so we do have some transition plans in place to try to help our students when they're traveling from one building to another. So that's in your folder as well, and our principals just try to include as many things. There's a lot of different things going on to try to help the students.
Do we still do the big brother, big sister type of thing when they transition to different schools, like if we needed helpers?
It's not exactly a big brother, big sister.
They have like mentors that walk them around
Yeah,
the building.
okay, good.
I mean, and
They
as
still do a lot of that with kindergarten in Kingston, just because they're,
No, yeah,
Big
they
change.
come down.
they do some of that.
Kingston comes to kindergarten.
Okay, good.
so-
So that's in your folder.
All right. Any questions for Ms. Lawrence?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good job.
Thank you.
Good job. Good job.
All right, Ms. Cotter, we'll have some financial reports.
Good evening.
Good evening.
We'll start with the statement of changes in fund balance with the month, can't even talk tonight, with the month ending March 31st of 2025. We ended the month with $15,354,192.17. I'll draw your attention to Fund 1220 and Fund 2220. This was where we dispersed the National Board Certified Teacher Stipends that are given to teachers who have that certification. And this money comes from the Arkansas Department of Education. We had 6 teachers that received $5,000 each in a stipend, and 2 teachers that received $2,500. And those amounts were expensed out of 1220, and then the benefits to those were out of 2220. Any questions?
No, ma'am.
Moving on to the statement of changes in revenues, expenditures, and fund balances. Our total revenues for the month of March were $2,119,825.16, with total expenditures of $3,656,958.27. Our monthly fund balance for the month of March was $8,966,122.12. And then finally, our statement of changes in activity funds for the month of March were $586,406.37. And the reports following are system reports that support these amounts, and also the check register for the month of March.
Any questions for Ms. Cotter and the money? Money, money, money. Thank you, Ms. Cotter. Student transfer update, Ms. Dewey.
We have 0 students in and 0 students out. So
Oh.
we are holding steady. School choice forms are coming in. Ms. Trish and Ms. Crawford have been working on those. And,
What's the deadline for school choice?
well, that's a question. We believe it's May 1st. However, there was some legislation that was passed that has led some folks to believe it's June 1st.
Ah,
So we are going to ask people get their stuff in if there's a change.
May 1st.
We're going to go with May 1st for today.
Very good. Enrollment report as printed.
Our current student count is 3,761 students. I do want to report on kindergarten enrollment. Kindergarten enrollment, they are almost exactly where we were last year.
Wow.
And I believe they were 5 to 10 less. Mr. Rogers, it was 5 or 10 less than expected on the day that we had the torrential rain. They had done a pre-registration for enrollment, and they were only short a handful of kids, but those kids are showing up, but the weather was just terrible. So I thought it was fantastic that that's who showed up that day. But the ones they're getting now, they haven't even heard from. So they had not done the pre-registration, which that's great. And they'll
Yes.
continue to
That's good.
arrive through the summer, but we will be keeping an eye on things. As we know, enrollment, pre-K says they're down a little, so we're gonna watch it.
Very good. Any questions for Ms. Dewey? All right, Mr. Knight, facility projects update.
So, start out on my attachment there. I don't know if you guys all look at it or not. I added another line I thought you might be interested in the public, and it's me keeping track of every dollar we've spent on talking about the new high school possibility. So,
Thank you for that.
no problem. So the first one was the first installment to the architect, $3,500. So I'll keep adding on to that when you guys will know too how far we're invested in that. So, and then I wanted to talk about this piece of land here for two reasons. Start with the easy one first. I had someone from the public come and ask me if we would be interested in selling a piece of that, and specifically the 4 acres over on the left of Rodeo, that's all wooded. And I would imagine most of us didn't even know we own that. Now, I heard that maybe Neil, a long time ago, maybe 10 years ago, someone might have approached the board and asked. So I don't know.
Do you remember Jason?
Yeah, the gentleman that built all the condos.
Same
right
person,
off,
yeah.
same
Yes.
person.
So I just wanted to see if you all wanted me to start working on that, or if you just wanted to.
Sell it.
I can't think.
We are
what
not
we
going to
would
do
ever
anything with
support.
it.
Yep.
That's my opinion as a board member, but
Well, it's too narrow a strip
It's-
really to build on.
yeah.
What?
It's too narrow to build on.
Yeah, it's like 4.3 acres. I think that side there at the top is pretty rocky and steep anyway.
I
He
can't-
also has well, now there's a place in between there, because we sold a piece to him.
Mhm. I
If it
can't
was
see.
closer to the junior high football field, I'd want to keep it just for parking.
Yeah, the only time that the reason I knew we had it was the building where C12 is now, we went and looked at years ago to maybe purchase a
Right.
ball squad.
Right.
And we were thinking, I was like, oh, we have that, we can cut a road across there if we need to keep them. That was the only time that I know that we've even thought about doing anything with it.
It is our property, and if we sell it, we'll never get it back.
It's also true. I mean, that's one of the reasons we bought the property across from the junior high.
Mhm.
We had the money to do it at the time, and,
I can't see in the near future what we would ever use that for. But 10 years, 15 years,
True.
20 years
And I don't
down
have
the
to
road.
So it's not like it's costing us maintenance.
I'm kind of that same opinion. If we need the funds, we need it, it's there to sell it. But if we don't, I would say it's going to continue to appreciate, and there's going to come a time when we do need that. We may need those funds, especially if it continues to build up as Mountain Home grows. It's going to become more valuable. It's hard to say, hard to look at the future. I agree we won't ever use it,
Yeah.
but I don't know if we need to sell it now or just continue to hold on to it. But that's going to be something for us to think about.
Okay. Well, if y'all change your mind, or we can talk about it later, or. So the other thing, and Lisa's approached me about this, and it's been in our master plan for years, is finally doing something for overflow parking at the baseball lots. I just wanted to make sure you all might want me to go start working on that. We had Strider do some drawings and plans for us. We got some city permits. We still have to get a floodplain permit to do it.
Where are you thinking?
Across the creek. And then we still have to figure out a way for them to get across the creek.
On the high school side of the creek or the ball field side of the creek?
Can
you lower that?
Lower down a little bit. Right there in that field.
Okay. And the field has a pretty good slope down to the creek.
It is, like do some berms and
yeah,
there'll be some work.
It'd be gravel. It would be gravel. It would not be paved.
Yeah, and you know, when
that was my first.
When we started here, the paved parking lot was gravel. So
That's
we can
right.
always do the same thing we did there and
Work our way up.
gravel it, and if you find it's being used a whole lot, pave it.
Do you want to talk about the reasoning? There is some reasoning.
Yes.
I was about to say that. I've crossed 6th Street with my 3 kids,
Yep.
and it's playing Frogger, trying to get across the street.
Well, after speaking to the State Highway Department gentleman, my first comment to him was, how many deaths do you need before we do something, or you do something? Because I about pegged one myself, and I'm pretty cautious there, but when it's a big ball game and softball and baseball are playing, there's 50 cars across the street, they're parking all around. There is no lights, there's no street lights, there's no lighting on the road, there's no reflective paint, there's no, even if we did, they did, us, whoever, pylons that are blinking to just make people aware that there are people crossing that road. They just may think that they're parked up on the road, but there's not even an overhead light or,
There's nothing.
and I know it's only a few months out of the year, but that's all it takes. And when it's dual games, and then we still have ASU using the fields during the summer and tournaments, and who knows if we're going to rent it out during summer for other ball tournaments. I know it's a big thing for the state highway, and he said, well, get me some videos, and I'm thinking, okay, but why can't we not do a video and just let's move forward? It can't cost that much money.
It does get a lot worse when they're doing tournaments and
Yes.
Hackler is in session.
Well, and the buses park somewhere, and
Because there's nowhere to park then.
So your kids are parking
behind.
up the hill. You see the gravel up the hill and behind. That's where our athletes are parking, and you'll end up with some families back there too. There's also no light back there.
Mhm.
Just personally, I don't let mine go up there at night by herself. It's a little creepy. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
To go get in her car. So just having a gravel parking lot.
And Chris and I have talked about, even behind where you walk in to pay your money, you could probably fit 40 cars on that grass that's right at the creek, where the bridge is going to the back parking lot to the high school. There's 40 right there that the whole big thing, and Chris and I have talked about that, is a retaining pond. Anytime you do any improvements, the city requires you to do a retainment pond, which it's the creek. But if we can, I'm going to talk to the Game and Fish and talk about what it's going to take to.
We used to have, we were never allowed to build a permanent bridge across there. So you have a non-permanent on the side where the kids park up the hill and go across. And then we used to have another one where they wouldn't kind of park in that grass.
We don't have that.
But that creek is now washed out so wide.
It's bigger, wider.
It doesn't fit. That's why that one's never there anymore.
And even where the big mound is in the parking lot, that real parking lot, there's a big mound and 2-3 trees on top, little bushes that are growing. Even behind that, if we could possibly do gravel for now and figure out a way to go around, and you could get another 40 parking spaces there. And I think that would take the heat off the Hackler Hill and put them there. I mean, this is not going to happen overnight.
What if, where the kids park, where that little gravel splash is at, and then all of that grass below that, all the way to the bus
Creek.
road, What if that was all paved parking
We have talked about that
with lights?
multiple times. We've talked about,
Because that would be
you know,
parking.
before,
Could use it for football
I'm
too.
thinking way back, before COVID, there was a talk about,
Tennis
some communities
courts.
wanna do tennis courts.
Yeah.
Like, maybe it was gonna go there, and there's
Mhm.
a shared parking spot, and then they would go across, and then there's bathrooms across there, and a concession stand.
Because if you had, I don't know how many, and I don't know what that footprint looks like for how many cars it would accommodate, but then you would have parking for your
Buses.
baseball, softball, high school gymnasium, and high school stadium
A
all at the
lot
same
of that
time.
is determines on what you guys maybe.
On your build, the
kinda look
building.
at next
Yeah.
Thursday.
With the big top being gone, and that may be, if, you know, if we get there, parking lot where the big top
Mhm.
currently is, I mean, it may make a lot of sense to have that. And that's the entryway to on the south side. It makes a lot of sense to flow right there into the gates to the field. But
But as for right now, my push next week when I call him back, I would like to see if we could get something temporary, at least for this summer and the rest of our season, and then June, which ASU and other people are gonna be using it. Pylons, blinking lights, something. Arnie once put up a solar-powered light in the
We did try
parking
that.
lot.
Yeah, and then we had Entergy come in and drop some extra lights just for that parking lot.
And then you mentioned the poles that maybe we can add another point light.
There's 3 poles that go across there that we can add on to. I think those are cheap, but you have to buy a transformer for each one, and I think those are around
5,000.
Yeah. I double checked with them, but I'm pretty sure every time I put one up, I've had to purchase the transformer.
That might be worth it.
the space behind right field, of the boys field, that little outcrop to the, is that inaccessible? Or is it usable?
No, the only people who go back there are the maintenance trucks.
Okay, I mean, that's probably the biggest space around the field.
How
Where
would you
were
get
talking
there,
right
though?
outside the gate is foul ball territory.
Mhm.
Our cars would get dinged by foul balls since we have a big net. But I was saying, hey, beyond right field, there's that space there. Is that used or is it accessible?
How would you get there, though?
Well, that's
Have
the
to-
question.
Yeah,
Is
I
it
mean-
accessible even?
Mhm.
So kind of point out what you're saying, because couldn't you come off from the, I want to make sure we're talking about the same spot. What spot are you talking?
He's talking
To
behind the
the
right field.
bottom right, that little outcrop.
From
that
the
sticks
baseball
off.
field.
From the bottom right,
Bottom
yeah.
right.
Bottom right of this.
Right
picture.
there.
Yeah, right
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
So what does that take to get to the road that's back behind
I mean, it's.
the big top?
You can't.
Well, there's a
You
creek.
can't?
A
Down
creek.
there.
The
Runs
creek's
through
there, and that's where you
so-
can't get the
Pretty
bridge.
sure
Right.
that's a
Okay.
pretty deep portion.
That's a
of
bigger,
the
bigger
creek.
gap, too.
Gotcha.
You'd have
Okay.
to have a large bridge.
It's a big spot.
Yeah.
It's just not super
You can't
accessible.
get to it.
And then I thought maybe that nice flat area where the runners run,
Mhm.
the, level that off,
Mhm.
bridge over the creek, gravel it. Might be, you could probably get at least 40 cars there.
The bridge over the creek, is that governed by Corps of Engineers?
FEMA, I believe.
FEMA. Mhm. Can't be permanent. It has to be a temporary bridge.
Well, we think.
Yeah, I'll know more next week when I talk to
Yeah.
a couple people.
Maybe we'll know more Thursday.
Yes.
So we can just
Yes.
hang off and see.
Is this something we could just kind of look into
Mhm.
and bring
I
back
don't
some
see why
ideas?
not. Yeah, we're
I think this
looking
is
into it now. I think
really
we need-
important.
Bring
Need
it
to do our
back.
homework.
Look into it a little more.
Yeah.
That's kind of where
We'll
we were.
go, wrap the drawings that we started, and they'll have to be changed a little bit, because since then, the city has added some
Regulation.
Mhm.
rules.
Mhm.
I mean, we knew when we built those that we would need additional parking.
Oh, yeah.
Here we are.
So, and maybe we'll get far enough that I can do a little number crunching, look, see where we're at.
And I'd like to thank Ben Strider from Strider Consulting for doing that work a long time ago and handing it back to us.
I can't remember how long it was.
It was a long
It was
time.
a long time.
It was 8 to 10 years, I think. Good things. Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks.
Thanks.
Thanks, Chris.
All right. Mr. Steve Mendleski, Technology Report.
Becca's gonna start tonight, kind of talk a little bit about tech committee and the screen time policies that the tech committee has kind of developed, and we're gonna kind of be asking for a recommendation for the other handbook tonight.
So our tech committee's met a couple different times, and just presented with a very wide open, what does technology use look like at your campus? So everybody has lots of different opinions. So we sent out a survey to teachers. What does it look like? And then I got into GoGuardian, which is our monitoring software, and pulled some data and got some pretty real numbers on what are our kids doing on their Chromebooks on an average week and an average month. So that was the data that I brought to the tech committee, and I'd love to share that data with you all. If you'd like it, just let me know. But that is where we started from in building what a screen time policy looks like for our kiddos. So we looked at Bentonville schools and several other different school districts. Matt Sutton was heavily involved with this process and looking at what does screen time look like. I didn't really even know the difference in what should it be, you know, playing Bejeweled on my phone versus Facebook, or two different parts of your brain. And I was like, okay. But basically there's 4 different kinds of screen time. Passive, so that's reading a book, watching TV, just not really, I guess I'll call it chill out time. Interactive would be games, browsing, communicating with someone else. Communication is strictly like chat, social media. I am intentionally on this device asking for a return from someone. And then content creation, so being creative. Digital music, digital art. Apparently Google will allow you to doodle now, and it will identify your doodles and tell you, thank you for training. So anyway, interactive and communicative really can go hand in hand, obviously. That's where the dopamine dump happens with our kiddos, and that's what we're seeing, especially after COVID, that the kids have a hard time walking away from. So what can we do as a school to ensure that we are using technology as a tool, because it's excellent, but not abusing that device and replacing quality classroom time? So if you look at the K-5 recommendation, it's just a whole bunch of words that is just said at the top, but it really goes through the difference in what screen time looks like for these kids. And then these suggestions, again, this is a starting point. So if you'll stay right there, Kelly, because I didn't bring my computer open. For kindergarten, we're saying about 30 minutes a day. And that is based on the data and looking at our approved curriculum. So what are we saying kids have to do on a device? And that averages out to about 30 minutes a day. First and second grade, we wanted to keep it consistent in the building, about 45 minutes a day. And obviously there are going to be days that are heavier and days that are lighter. And then third, fourth, and fifth, about 50 minutes a day. This will give our teachers time to be able to use, like iReady. But one of the things that was pretty fascinating is iReady has a recommended number of minutes per week. We were overshooting those minutes. So just being aware of, I had no idea that this is what was happening, but just being aware of, and iReady has a thing called MyPath, and it's prescriptive based on the kid. So if I'm not really good at 2-digit multiplication, it's going to shoot me practice questions on 2-digit multiplication. So it's excellent. It's a wonderful tool for bridging those gaps and filling in those holes. But what can we do that's maybe not in front of a screen? Because one thing with iReady is it integrates all of that into a game. So you get a star, or you get an ice cream cone, or you get your rocket ship moves, or whatever the reward of the day may be. So these minutes are where our tech committee landed for K-5. So like Allison said, I think to you all earlier, we'd love for this to be included in the handbooks. I'd love for it to be included on our website. I'd love for it to go out in parent newsletters. When we're talking to the public, you know, this is a step that we know is an issue for today's kids. This may not be the right amount of time. It may be something that we need to come back and readdress. One of the hats for my job is pulling that GoGuardian report and breaking it down. Judy laughs at my spreadsheets because they look like bags of Skittles because I color code everything. But it was fascinating to see
exactly what our kids were doing. Even so much, wow, that's a lot of time on X, Y, or Z. Well, maybe it was because it was inside recess. You know, it was gross weather, so let's run it again. So I ran it for another week and it was beautiful. It was pretty consistent. But then that would be just a really simple fix. Okay, it's inside recess. Let's maybe not play games on our Chromebooks this time. Maybe let's get checkers. Let's get some of those board games. Let's do some things where we're talking to our classmates. So, it's a whole lot of words. But that's where we landed on minutes for K-5. And then Kelly, if you'll open the 612, because our kids' schedules are a little bit structured differently. It was, if I'm a teacher at Pinkston and I have a 30-minute a day average, how do I know what periods 1 through 6 teachers are doing? So in order to really give our kids what is best for them, we broke it down into minutes. 5 to 10 minutes average per day in each class period looks like, whoa, that's not very much. But they have 40, Justin, how long?
48 minutes.
48-minute class periods. So if we're spending 10 minutes a day on a device of 48 minutes, that's where it gets a little, so, and this is an average. Maybe on Thursday I'm doing an assessment in my math class at Pinkston, but Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we're not on the Chromebooks. And then you see those minutes are greater, 8, 9, and 10, 12, because their blocks are longer. They're in a 90-minute class. So we would love for you to be able to read through this, give us your feedback if there's things that you would like to change, which is why it still says draft. But I'd love for this to be very public so that we can share with our community that we know it's an issue. We want to do what's best for our kiddos, and we're going to try this and see what happens.
Maybe if the teachers, and I think this is kind of where you were talking about, 48 minutes, and that's a little bit less, is maybe those teachers that work together, they can have their time to where 3 days this week, you're going to have this, and then you'll...
Right. And it's not a hard, fast rule. Like, this is not going to be a policy. If you break this,
Yeah.
that's not what
That's
this is.
That's important to know.
This is a recommendation.
Right.
Hey, and I think this is something that in back-to-school faculty meetings, Matt could talk to people. You know, I had no idea that playing a game on iReady fed that part of your brain that was the same part of your brain that when I watch dogs falling on TikTok, that it's super funny, and that's the dopamine addiction. I know Kelly's over there like, whoa, I had no idea. And looking at kindergarten, you know, we've tested at kindergarten this week. That's been fun, by the way. But looking at how native these kids are on devices, wow. Like, let's see what we can do to kind of kick it back to old school, and let's teach. Let's see what we can do using tech as a tool and using it to support my teaching, but maybe being a little bit more creative and intentional with how we use it.
So like at the high school level, and so you got the 90-minute blocks, right? And all I can do is kind of project how I envision that's used. That kids come in and they probably review a concept. They might have that added on to, and then there's a time where they practice, which could be 30 minutes because they don't use pencil and paper to practice math or whatever.
Right.
And then they might go back the next 30 minutes where the teacher's reviewing or giving structure. That's just how I picture a day being structured. There's no way 10 or 15 minutes. And from everything I'm reading, whether this is true or not, because we know no one knows what the future is.
We should go to our librarians for
well, we should,
resources.
but AI is going to eliminate the role of homework. So everything's going to have to be done during class time, which will impact computer use. I'm kind of curious what that'll do to kids or allowing enough time
I think if
for the
you'll
work
look
to
at the
be
data
done.
set, and I didn't include it here because it's just so big.
So big, yeah.
But if you will look at that data set and look how our teachers are currently using it for approved curriculum for those review pieces, this is adequate.
This works. Okay.
Over a week, would you say?
Over a week, yeah. There's
And
going to be days that are heavier.
That it's longer, yeah.
There's a lot of time they're spending on the devices that
It's passive.
aren't curriculum
It's
related.
passive,
Kind of just
yeah.
bring that aware,
Sure.
place for the teachers to kind of start and say, well, maybe I can strive to do
Sure.
15 minutes or,
Would you say
a part of this too is to strive to make sure what we're doing on Chromebooks or devices is instructional.
Yes.
I mean,
And
that's.
intentional.
And intentional.
Intentional.
And so I think
That
that
was-
maybe sums up, it's not a,
Sure.
I gotcha, they were on too long today. It's
Mhm.
intentionally, and you had
Guideline.
high school teachers, I mean, we have classes
On the
that it will be, this will not work. We know that.
Well, sure, like your robotics classes,
I
your
mean,
coding classes,
yeah,
like,
that's not
those
a-
are outliers, but
Yeah.
when I was in the classroom, I had a group of 7th graders in the kitchen cooking. I'm in the kitchen with them so they don't burn it down. We only started 2 fires. My kids that were on the other side of the room were working on an activity on their Chromebook related to what I was teaching. It's educational, but it's not direct instruction from my teacher. So maybe that needs to look like, I'm gonna build out a CFA on Atlas that's related to my grade level standards. And instead of them playing the food guide pyramid game, I'm going to give them a CFA over my content standards. Yes, it's still going to be on the Chromebook, but it is intentional. It's not, I don't wanna say babysitting, because that's not the word at all, but it's intentionally related to what we teach.
All right.
Did I sum all that up the right way, Jason? Because Jason's been here.
I sat in on some of the committee,
Mhm.
and there's no easy way to bring awareness, because that's what you're trying to do, is you're trying to bring awareness into the classroom so that teachers are aware of what children, how long they're sitting in front of this. How do you put that in policy is the hard part. So I think bringing an awareness and an intent is the main focus, and not so much the minutes. Because we don't need to be banking minutes, but maybe science class is 4 days of instructional time, and maybe that 5th day is all on a device. You know, but it's bringing that intent. What are we doing? Is it intentional? Not, is it?
I did think it was interesting what Melissa said about teachers are bringing kids back into the library to look at books so that they're not, and that kind of relates to this, but I thought that was interesting.
It's almost, not totally, but it's almost flopped a little bit, where like 20 years ago, you know, you went to the computer lab, you got to play on the computer, and now it's like, now you get to go to the library and you get to
Play with the book.
Really look through books.
You know,
Yeah.
so which is great, like, it needs to be a place for them to go do
Sure.
something different and hands-on and just not on a device.
Mhm.
So,
It's good.
Good work.
Lots of work.
They have
Ms.
worked
Camp.
extremely
Lots
hard
of work
to bring,
in that group.
and it's
tough.
It's a working document. I mean, we're gonna figure out what works and what doesn't work, and we're gonna keep going.
Because technology is changing,
It
there's gonna be a
changes.
new kind of device coming in.
That's right.
I
New
mean,
every
it's
day.
it's
And every
unbelievable.
curriculum adoption, I'm like,
Yeah.
well, what's gonna go wrong this time? And it's something new every time. So with your blessing, I would like to be able to present this to building principals, assistant principals, handbook committees, to get it included in handbooks. I'll get with Jennifer to remember how to put things on the website, because I might have forgotten. And just start pushing this out to the public and to our buildings, that this is the direction we're gonna start the next school year.
Very good.
Good job.
Okay.
Everybody, all right? Good, thank you. Thanks for all your hard work.
Yeah.
Thanks your team.
What else you got?
So just a few things we're working on, Chromebook plans for next year. Of course, we're looking at, even with screen time, we're always looking at, do we want to change the way we're doing devices? Do we want to recart them? Do we want to have them one-on-one where they carry them around still? So we're working up some different plans there, possibly with Pinkston, that might affect how many Chromebooks we purchase and what we do with them and all that stuff. So that's kind of, and then, of course, bidding that, and then tariffs and that whole political side of it, so yay. Canvas renewal discussions, modifying some of the quotes and stuff on that. I think our plan is next month to bring that to the board for approval, so there'll be some information on that. The access control round 2 project, which probably stealing this from Eddie next week, but high school, Nelson Wilkes, Pinkston is done. All those doors are done and online and working, the ones that we added. Junior high, we're waiting on them to do some gate work, and then they'll come back and put access control on those gates. So, And the camera installation for junior high in Pinkston, those projects you approved, are hoping to start in a few weeks. They're gonna send 2 crews and do both buildings at the same time, so they'll be running cable and doing cameras at both locations, which will hopefully just wrap that up within, they're hoping 2 to 3 weeks to have that wrapped up, so. But yeah, that's about it.
Cool.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right,
Great
thanks.
job.
Thank you, Steve. Okay, we have board action items to begin on. Request to approve the 25-26 school level improvement plan. Ms. Lawrence?
Okay, everything. So these are what we call our SLIPS plans. Y'all are probably familiar with these. This is an annual piece that we do. Ms. Cotter and I actually held our last SLIPS meeting for the year this last Monday, and our grade level representatives came in and worked with us to do kind of a final run through of the SLIPS plans that you're gonna see linked on this document. And so this has been an ongoing, we meet quarterly and we evaluate the goals, and then we create our new goals for the upcoming year. So for the background of SLIPS, you'll see that it is attached to the Arkansas Code annotated 615-2914 that establish the school level improvement plans. I'll skip down to the rationale to the part where it says the school level improvement plan will track leading indicators for school level actions to monitor, assess, reflect, and adjust planned actions in a continuous inquiry cycle for improvement. And likewise, they will examine the progress of indicators. So Kelly, if you want to just click on the kindergarten one, just for an example, we're not going to go through each one of these because you have access to all of them. We linked PDFs for you to see. These are actually working documents, so these are evaluated throughout the school year. Sometimes we'll have strike-throughs when we need to make adjustments on these, but the PDF for you is what we have set in place for the, it's crazy to say, but the 25-26 school year. And just to kind of peruse quickly, I just want to kind of point out, we set these goals kind of in categories. There will be a literacy goal that you'll see. There'll be a math goal. And if you scroll down, you'll see kind of a workforce or pathways goal set that's appropriate for the grade level. That's attached to the SLIPS plan. There's always a social emotional goal attached. And then there's a piece where you'll see how we plan to evaluate the goals. For example, for kindergarten, they've mentioned their diagnostics and these are universal screeners, and then they've added surveys, and all of our state assessments are part of the evaluation. And then they evaluate through the ESSA results, and then they can monitor certain categories such as attendance, students with disabilities, different things like that throughout this plan. What you'll notice the most, the biggest change, all of our goals, all the wording has changed from ACT Aspire to Atlas. We had to make a lot of changes there, and we really have decided to base all of our goals and our academic pieces around that. So you can see there's a lot of similarities within the plans, but then you'll see they change. The other part is there has to be a timeline attached to every action step that's underneath the goal. So everything has to be measurable and with a timeline. So that's kind of the synopsis of what the plan will look like. So there's one for each building. So our recommendation is that the Mountain Home Public Schools School Board of Education will approve the school level improvement plans for the 2025-2026 school year as presented.
I move the board approve the recommendation.
A second.
I have a motion from Neil and a second from Ms. Molly. Any discussion?
I'm good. I was just gonna make one comment. Hey, we have the evaluation of the goals, and that's obviously really important to look at our goals. Hey, do we meet them? Do we exceed them? And adjust appropriately. And the data's out there. It's not really concise, certainly for the board or the public to see. So it's just a suggestion, maybe to, at the end of every year, put on this document, put it back out. Hey, where are we short? Where are we exceeding? Because the data's out there, but it's not in a concise location. It's kind of, it's scattered around.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, we're presented with this. I would like to see where, we approved this last year. How do we do? Okay, but it's not quite so easy. So just a suggestion, let's consolidate those, the evaluation of our goals.
Well, it could be something like a column that would even link
Sure.
perhaps the data that would go.
Sure,
with
some of them have
that or something
percentages,
like
X
that.
percentage of meets or exceeds. Hey, where are we at?
Yeah.
Did we get there? Are we exceeding it? Are we
Great
not?
feedback.
That way, it just makes it real concise for us to see where we're at. And
Full pieces.
yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Ms. Cotter, right along with me, so we can add that to our work for next year.
I actually think that would be reflected in the needs assessments. Because they use that to drive their SLIP scores.
Any other questions or discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you, Ms. Lawrence. Request to approve the fiscal year 25 budget adjustments, Ms. Cotter.
As promised last month, I'm bringing a second round. The budget adjustments that you have before you tonight are all related to our special education department funds. And so I'm asking that the board approve the attached budget amendments for the 24-25 school year.
Make a motion, we approve the recommendation as presented.
I'll second.
I have a motion from Jason and a second from Scott. Any discussion?
Looks like we're getting more net, more in than we planned, right?
In our MAC, yes.
In our
MAC, yeah.
And a little bit in 6B.
Yes, ma'am.
All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you, Ms. Cotter.
Ms. Moeller.
Request to approve the 24-25 calendar amendments, Ms. Moeller and Mr. Daly.
I think it's just Ms. Moeller.
But we'll just take you tonight.
With our last weather-related early release that we had to let out at 1 o'clock, we're actually 2 hours short on our calendar with our minutes, since we went minutes this year. So PPC would like to recommend that we change May 16th to a regular release date to make up for that.
Grr.
Make a motion, we approve the recommendation.
Second.
I have a motion from Jason, a second from Neil. Any discussion?
Graduation day, but it shouldn't affect any of the,
No.
shouldn't affect anything. So.
Nope. All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you. Request to approve policy updates, Ms. Dewey.
Yes, so revisions to policy, as you know, are made as new policies and procedures are put out. They must be revised as needed to affect the needs of our students and faculty, staff, and community. We recommend the board approval of the attached policies as presented. You will see that those are school choice policies based on, these are ASBA. You will also see the two at the bottom are Mountain Home policies for AI, student use, and I believe is 5, I had it. Didn't print the fifth one off. And then the 5 is, I believe, just an overall policy for AI because we've already adopted the certified and the classified. So these AI policies do match what you approved last month for students and faculty. The only thing that is different than the ASBA policy is that instead of a different committee, it seems prudent to just use our technology committee because that's what they do. You all know that this is a moving target. We've talked about it. There may be changes to this over time. I expect there will be. So I recommend the approval of these policies as presented.
I make a motion that we accept the policy updates for the 25-26 school year as presented.
Second.
I have a motion from Scott, a second from Barbara. Any discussion? It's hard to discuss when it's ASBA. Well,
Playing by
discuss
the
all you
rules that
want.
have been given to us.
Discuss amongst yourselves. All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you, Ms. Dewey. Board discussion.
Board discussion. Like to, what do we got?
Got anything?
I do. Just debated whether to talk about it or not. It's nothing for No action items, it's just something for us to think about, to consider on. You know, school safety is our #1 priority, student safety. We just spent a lot of money on our weapons detection system, et cetera. I look at statistics, and I don't have anything written down, I'm just kind of winging it, so excuse me if I'm not the most coherent. I look at statistics, right? The statistical average of a student, you know, dying in a school shooting is roughly 0.13 per 100,000 high school students in America. Make the easy math, that's about 1.3 per million students. Okay, we have about 20 million high school students in the country. The statistical average for a high school student to die by suicide is 9 per 100,000, or 9 per 100,000, or 90 per million. Our students are 68 times more likely to die from suicide than they are from school shooting. Weapons, a school shooting, 87% of them are from handguns, like that weapons detection system. It's good for detecting long guns and backpacks full of magazines. But statistically, that's the smallest likelihood of happening. Far more would be a handgun. They can come through a lot easier, right? I'm not saying, hey, that weapons detection system, there's no negative to it there. My objection was, hey, we have finite amount of resources to spend. But I say, hey, statistically, we're far more likely to have a student die by suicide than by a school shooting. So I think as part of that student safety, we have to address this. You know, say, hey, well, we've never had one previously. Well, of course, it's been a long time. Well, we haven't had a school shooting yet either. But we did just have a student. We just lost a student recently. Yellville Summit just lost a student this spring as well. It is the biggest threat to our students. It's a taboo topic. It's typically, don't talk about it, don't mention it, just ignore it. The data shows that is the wrong answer. You have to talk about it. So I think there's some ways that we can spend some money on counseling, on programs, but I think there's also a lot of opportunities out there that don't cost us money. From whether even just having assemblies and talking about it, bringing in speakers. We have community partners that do tremendous work out there and that are very eager to take on this. That Miss Alma's passing was a wake-up call, and they're anxious to try to help out. So to me, I think the one thing that we cannot afford is to do nothing. Okay, I think it needs to be a wake-up call for all of us. I'm a member of a group called Together with Veterans. It's run by Mr. Dan Hall locally, former county judge. Baxter County used to have one of the highest suicide rates, or the highest suicide rate in the state of Arkansas. And we meet quarterly. We've got so many different agencies involved trying to get the suicide rates down, and we've been very, very successful. We're now towards the bottom of the rates in the state of Arkansas. So there's things you can do, and it doesn't, I mean, they have no budget, right? It's just getting people together, it's talking about it, it's addressing the mental health. It's straight up talking to children, right? Because nobody knows, people stay quiet until it happens, right? So talking to people is really, really important. I've talked about mental health now for a while. I talked about it when we were talking about the weapons detection system with Mr. Sutton here. So I just think we need to really put a focus on what's the most likely way that we're going to lose a student, and at least dedicate some resources, whether it's time, money, combination of both. I think there is, and there can be, a silver lining to Miss Roden's passing. We just have to reach out and grab it and make sure that we take advantage of that silver lining and bring it in. Okay? So pretty much that's my only thought. I know we were all upset about it. About a terrible tragedy, and I think upset's putting it mildly, me as well. So that's something that I've thought a lot about here in the last week. I've talked to not a lot, but the last month. I've talked to a lot of people locally, so there are some real opportunities out there that it's nothing for the board to take action on. There's a lot of this, hey, Ms. Dewey, let's take all the help that we can get from our community support. And let's start thinking about ways that we can address this within the school.
So, can I share something?
Of course, please.
And I think Mr. Sutton may have gotten back here, but he got some news yesterday, which is perfect for right now. That's what I was looking up on my phone, that he's here. So, Mr. Sutton,
Hey, Mr. Sutton.
could you share what you shared with me yesterday?
Sure, on who we've got
Yes,
partnering
sir.
with Baxter, yeah. So Baxter Health's partnering with us to bring in Talk Saves Lives, and they're actually through the American Suicide Prevention Foundation. And we nailed down 2 different dates that the speakers could potentially come in September. I think the 25th is likely the one that's gonna land on the student, but
Okay.
that's a big partnership with Baxter that we're so happy to have, and they're incredible to even be thinking of us in this time. So definitely shout out to them, and some really cool stuff that they're helping us plan around Walk for Awareness on that same day. So two opportunities for our students to hear that speaker, and then that speaker would also speak to the community that night. For anybody that we can get here, they're gonna even fund some food to bring people, because that helps. And then do a Walk for Awareness that night. So we've got efforts.
That's awesome.
As much as we can at this moment, because we're still heavy into struggling with and loving our folks, you know?
Sure.
So.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
That's
It's a good first step.
good first step.
Mhm.
And it doesn't have to be 0 to 100 like that. It's,
Right.
we work into it.
That's right.
It's a tough subject to talk about,
It is.
but the mental health is something we really need to focus hard on. Not easy, it costs money, but I think, like you say, that's money well spent. We try to pride ourselves in the bullying, but I think we could do more. I think we need to try to look at different avenues of how to control that even more. I talked to a lot of young students, and we're not catching it all. And I think our teachers and our administrators are doing a good job, but maybe there's a little bit more we can do. And I talked to a parent today, right before the meeting, and she was very upset about a little bullying thing that happened. And I don't know if we can put cameras in the bathrooms.
Can't put them in the
Not in the
bathrooms.
stall area. Can you put it by the sink? That seems to be our big area that kids seem to bully more on the playground and lunchroom and bathrooms. So I don't know how we can get that done, but
We've got them going into the bathroom.
because we know bullying does lead to strong mental health problems, and it is one of the, but it's my 2 cents right there. Anybody else have some great board discussion? I have a little one, the Facebook post about the lunch charges and all that stuff. I do have a friend that is considering maybe helping pay. We had some things fall through the cracks with our free and reduced lunch kids, and we talked about that today, about the charges that we can't get rid of them, but yet maybe we can polish that next year too on.
Yeah, that is set up and working. I think folks did not get verification that they were approved for free and reduced, and so they assumed that they had been approved.
Yeah.
So we have to make sure, and I thought about that today after we
Mhm.
visited. There can be a way to, in the instructions, if you don't get something saying you're approved, you need to call us. And the late notices for charges, I think, are what
Right.
created the concern. And it was
Mhm.
just the systems working together, et cetera. But they should be going out now.
And I don't want to say it's operator error, but it's also parental, if you know you should be getting it, and you know your kid's eating, and you don't get a bill, I think
Right.
you kind of need to have some accountability to that also, but I think we could all help out and get that done.
Do we have any idea of the total, like what the total is out there?
I can get it for you. We always have a very high total, but it will go down.
But we can
But
ask
it's
the
still
community
high.
too,
Mhm.
right?
Still
You know,
high.
Baxter foundation can ask, and they'll pull in $2 million out of the community a year for some capital improvement project. Like, why can't we ask for,
Right.
hey, our students owe a cumulative total of 35,000,
Yeah, I would say
whatever it
you're close.
is, and ask for, hey, if any community partners or business
Yeah,
want to
that's
come
a
in
great
or whatever,
idea.
come in and help support that. I don't know if the foundation can take that in as, but there's different avenues, but at least ask.
Right.
So
You can-
shout out, we do have some folks that
We
come
people
in
would love to, I think.
and write checks
Yeah.
to be
Mhm.
put towards student lunch debt.
Yeah.
So there are folks in our community, I mean, that would be a fantastic.
Non-business
Yeah.
folks either, you know,
Yes,
these are just
personal.
people that
But
want
most
to.
people aren't even thinking about it.
Right.
If you ask, I know, we write a check, right? And I
Right.
think there's a lot of people out there that would, that
For
can
sure.
help these folks.
On that note, one more thing. I'm full of things tonight. So I went to Hackler. No, I'm sorry. Nelson Wilkes. Nelson Wilkes. Yeah. Oh.
Art.
Nope. Nope. This is a negative.
Oh.
Sorry. Sped Playground. Our Sped Playground. It's little. It's not very big. It's 12 by 20. Nelson Wilkes. So it's pea gravel. And some of those little children tend to stick at things, throw things, break glass, throw things at each other. I'm going to work on personally trying to get all the gravel taken out, if it's okay with everybody, and put in rubber bark for them to play on, so it's not as harsh, because we had a little incident there not long, just this week. Yeah, anyway, we won't go into that. But, so the gravel, we need to get rid of the gravel. That's what I'm saying. Please. We have some rubber mats that they got underneath the swing sets, but where they play is pea gravel. And pea gravel sometimes is not good with little ones. So, I just think that might be, so if you know anybody that wants, I'd like to get approval of this, though, if we can
Oh,
get
we
somebody
can
to
just
come.
take- We can work on that.
They could come get all the pea gravel they want, and then we'll have the rubber
That's
donated
that we can work on.
by a couple people I know to put rubber bark down.
From
So if you need some pea gravel, Scott, get your wheelbarrow and come on.
No, but from somebody who's taken a 5-year-old to the ENT to get a rock
Me
pulled
too.
out of the ear.
Me too,
I
and the
understand.
nose. The nose and the ear.
This was down the ear.
Yeah, we did the nose, and it
Is
almost,
the rubber bark easier to remove?
it's bigger. You can't get it up there.
If you eat a rock, it's not toxic. If the rubber, you choose a rubber.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, like, from a medical standpoint, which one's easier? Which
Yeah,
one-
well, yeah, and if rubber bark's not
Unless you
the
can
answer.
Stop them from
The
doing it,
mat
doesn't
that's
matter what you
in
put
at
down.
Hickory Park now, that's underneath all the playground.
Put down jelly beans.
Okay, maybe
That's-
the mat.
It's pretty nice.
It's a surface at
Yeah,
Hackler.
does
It's
it-
a
yeah.
surface that's at
It's
Hackler.
pretty
Okay.
nice.
Does
And
that
And it's
dark get
squishy,
hot?
yeah.
It get the black.
It doesn't get as hot as the pea gravel. That pea gravel gets
But
hot.
that chewing issue, that's a
Toasty.
deal.
Well, I know,
Yeah,
I
bubble
That's a
gum,
deal.
yeah.
know what they have on the football field gets real hot.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Well, and they dig, and then sometimes they get stuck, or, things happen, and also throwing the rocks at the windows and cracking the windows, that's never a good thing, so.
But even
So,
bark mulch would be
we
better.
do have a plan for a playground at Nelson Wilkes.
Yes. In the future, I'm
That-
thinking over summer, another one of those
That would-
temporaries until we get,
Right, but that is
New
something
buildings.
that is in we have a plan for that.
okay.
That includes a very nice section for our special education students, our more severe students.
I haven't talked to Chris about this, but how you doing?
This is a piece of cake. We did
This is easy, right? This is easier than the ball field.
Now, this is.
Those are my two, and school uniforms and corporal punishment. Joking.
No, you're not.
No, I'm not, but, I'm out of here soon, so. Okay, anything else?
On that note, with no opposed candidates, we talked about with the election getting certified, but there's nothing really to vote on. Do we have any
I have
update
info.
on that?
I do. I do.
Well, I didn't want to steal your thunder.
Oh, no, it's not
Okay.
thunder. I just don't want to interrupt if
Okay.
somebody
Nope.
else has.
Nope, that was just
More
mine. I had a question on
discussion,
that.
board discussion. Neil?
Waiting to hear
Okay.
what she says.
All right.
So, information about school board elections. They still have to be certified. So, it is supposed to be 2 days or 48 hours from when the election is over. That's 7:30 on Tuesday. Your meeting will have started. They probably will certify sometime that afternoon unless there are any outstanding provisional ballots. At this point, they've had no requests for any overseas or absentee ballots. Those can be requested until May 6th. So we still have a little time to see if there are any. So this meeting, this board will be seated for the May meeting, this current board. At 4 o'clock on May 17th, that Friday, we did have it set for 10 a.m., but we've had to move it to 4. That Friday, the new board members will be sworn in.
If there's no provision.
If everything goes as, if there's no provisional or outstanding ballots. So, May 17th, 4 o'clock, we will have new board members sworn in, which makes graduation interesting. Graduation is that night at 7. I've invited everyone to attend, but we will still have the same board officers that we have for graduation. We just have some new board members that will begin soon.
So technically, you won't be on the board, but you're the board president, since there's no chance to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
There'll be no chance to reorganize. Now,
Correct.
if it's not certified, there wouldn't be a chance to reorganize or have anyone
Correct.
sworn in.
Correct.
But that's what it is. That's how it's fleshed out, folks. I know it's interesting.
I don't recall it ever happening before.
Well, graduation used to be Memorial that weekend, didn't it?
It used to be much later.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that
we
may be
changed it.
why.
Yeah, that changes.
So it just has
Yeah,
never.
board elections have never been in May either.
That too.
But she's willing to come and swear all three in. They all three were able to commit to that 4 o'clock time. So that is as of today. If there is a change, I will let you all know. Okay?
No Blake Shelton concert for me on graduation night.
So.
Can
I'll
you
take
get Blake
it.
to come?
Maybe. Boy, that'd be something, wouldn't it?
Great
Yeah, heck of a graduation.
So, legislative
There'd be a lot
session
of
is
people
over.
come.
Yeah.
Didn't
They've
have any
been very,
kids.
very busy. Lots of new school-related laws were passed.
Lots.
Already at work on, we're already working on some of the changes. So a simple change, we didn't have a direct link to emails for cybersecurity reasons. If we want to be letter of the law, we have emails for our board members, direct link now, not just a message box where we would forward them on to you.
Good.
That's an easy thing, right? If we already see it, we can do it. One change is starting in July, our meetings, our constituents will have an opportunity to address the board without a request process. So that was Senate Bill 90. I do not know the act number off the top of my head. But so there's some good changes as well. We're continuing to watch enrollment. If you haven't enrolled your kindergartners and you all know anybody, 5 before August 1. And we are still accepting school choice applications as well. 5:30, April 24th, that's Thursday, that will be our facilities planning meeting. I'm going to go ahead and meet with some high school teachers next week. I'll be sending out an invitation to them, all of them, to meet with them on Tuesday is my hope. We'll celebrate their ACT scores and talk about some things that they would like to see in a new building, just so there is some voice. That won't be the last time we visit with them,
Is that
but I
a-
thought that would be a good opportunity.
Open meeting,
The work session? Yes.
so maybe the new school board members.
Yes, we've
Sure.
been, I'll continue to
Okay.
remind them and
Good.
I'll send it again. I believe that's one of the reasons we picked that date.
Yeah, I think so. Yep, that's right. I'm sorry.
Drop in tomorrow 9 to 2. And I want to shout out our U.S. First Bomb Squad, who is in Houston at the Nationals. And we are just so proud of those kids, and they are rocking and rolling, and hopefully they'll just keep doing so.
Gosh, I saw a video of that.
Isn't it
and
cool?
amazing,
It's
right?
amazing what those kids have created and are doing. And we have a wonderful community partnership with Vantive now,
Mhm.
formerly Baxter, and proud of the work that they're doing.
Baxter still has part of it.
They do. I think Vantive gave us the money, though.
Yeah,
and the engineers.
Vantive is the
They got their
local.
sign in front.
They do. All right, that is all I have.
Okay, well, we will adjourn for executive session for personnel, employment, retirements, and transfers.